Welcome back, True Seeker. In the headlines, Hall of Famer Kenny Easley, who played his NFL career for the Seahawks, dead at 66. And he reportedly died yesterday, November 14th, the day leaving 47 days left in the year. I routinely talk about how important 47 is in Seattle, the city on the 47th parallel, where the world's first UFO sighting was in 47, before the next one down in New Mexico, the 47th state. That was Roswell. Of course, Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos started their tech businesses in New Mexico, the 47th state, and moved them up to the 47th parallel in Seattle. The other year when the All-Star game was in Seattle, on the banner at the field, they had the coordinate for Seattle on the 47th parallel on the World Series banner at the stadium, as I talked about, and the AL lost and stayed on 47 wins in the All-Star game. So anyhow, this Seattle sports star dies on the day leaving 47 days left in the year, and he dies at 66. And where those numbers come together is in mathematics. 66 is the 47th composite number. And we've talked about this with the Beast Quake before. Of course, Seattle's known for the Beast Quake, the great Marshawn Lynch run in the playoffs to beat New Orleans when the Seahawks had a losing season but still made it to the playoffs anyway because the NFC West was that bad that year. Not to mention New Orleans used to be in the NFC West before the Seahawks moved from the AFC to the NFC and realigned the divisions. But anyway, Protestant Bibles are 66 books in length. And in the 66th book, Revelation, you learn about the number of the beast. And in Gematria, beast equals 47. That's when you take the alphabetic order. A is 1 up to Z is 26. So B would be the second letter. E would be the fifth. A would be the first. S would be the 19th. T the 20th. Beast added up, 47. If you take the alphabetic order with numerology applied to each letter, number of the beast equates to 66. If you run the alphabetic order in reverse, Z is 1 back to A is 26, and apply numerology, number of the beast equates to 87. If you just run the alphabetic order, Seahawks equals 87. What's interesting about Mr. Easley is he finished his playing career in 87, and he started in 87 games for the Seahawks. So again, just bring all this back to the emphasis on beast. And then with regards to the NFL's first Super Bowl season was the 47th season of the NFL. And in what's known as Jewish Gematria, NFL equates to 66, which is also interesting because 66 is the 11th triangular number, and football is a game of 11 on 11. And if you use numerology, beast equals 11 instead of 47. But okay. Now, he wasn't on the Super Bowl team for the Seahawks when they won their lone Super Bowl in Super Bowl 48. Remember, Seahawks equals 48 when you run it in reverse with numerology. When you run it forwards with numerology, Seattle Seahawks equals 43. Seahawks won Super Bowl 48 with 43 points, beating Denver 43-8. He's still part of this franchise, though. And notice, from his January 15th birthday to his death November 14th was 303 days. Now, that's the Denver area code, 303. So his franchise that he played for won one Super Bowl over the 303 area code. He dies 303 days after his birthday. If you look up the box score for Super Bowl 48, where the Seahawks beat the Broncos, Russell Wilson had 206 passing yards. Of course, that's the Seattle area code, the 206. Notice his name, his full name, Kenneth Mason Easley, 206. How perfect that he played his whole career in Seattle. And what's also interesting is the upcoming Super Bowl is on February 8th, the 39th day of the year. So he died on the day leaving 47 days. Super Bowl on the 39th day of the year. That means he died 86 days before the Super Bowl. Broncos equals 86. Blood sacrifice equals 86. Human sacrifice equals 86. The Super Bowl's in San Francisco, where the Broncos won their last Super Bowl. Remember, they got beat badly by the Seahawks in 48 and then came back and beat the Panthers in Super Bowl 50. Easley played at UCLA, and if you watched the UCLA basketball game last night, they honored the death of Bill Walton. Remember, Bill Walton died at 71 the day the Celtics clinched their championship berth in 2024, where they went on to win the finals. That was the 78th season. Boston Celtics, the only team in the league that equaled 78. But Celtics alone is also 71. Bill Walton died at 71 the day the Celtics clinched the finals. UCLA is also 71, where Bill Walton went, where they honored him after dying last night with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at the game. It's interesting because today in the NBA, Kareem's teams play each other, Milwaukee and the Lakers. And today's 213 days after Kareem's birthday. That's the LA area code. It's also a number connected to death. So I'm thinking about this. Is Bill Walton UCLA guy, Kareem UCLA guy, Easley UCLA guy? Again, a lot of times the cabal, when they're doing this, they're laying down riddles and they're foreshadowing who's next. Big Al last night sent me a photo from the game when they first went to Kareem. They went to Kareem to show him at the game with 67 points on the board. Again, as we know, that's a big blood sacrifice number, just like 86. And also, interestingly enough, Kenneth Mason Easley equals 71, like UCLA, like Celtics. Again, Bill Walton dead at 71, honored last night, the night that Easley died. And another point about Easley, he was drafted in 81. 81 fits in with the Beast too, right? Mark of the Beast equals 81, like Kobe Bean Bryant equals 81. Kobe, who dropped his career high 81 in his 666th game, 666, which is the Beast number. And 81 would have been 44 years ago. As we know, Seattle equals 44, as does kill and execution. And about this being the 106th season, Seattle, WA, like you'd write out on an envelope, does equal 106. You just saw the Winnipeg Jets become 10-6 before they played the Kraken a few nights back. There's a Jewish rapper from Seattle who put out a song recently called $106. So, yeah, anyway, Seattle is one of the top teams in the NFL this year. Going to have to keep an eye on them. These sacrifices don't always mean you're in the big game, but sometimes you get enough of them, you end up there. So the other thing is just the way they connect all these sports leagues and politics and the Oval Office. This guy did wear number 45 and died on the day, leaving 47 days left in the year. Does it remind you of anybody? Remember, DC's the Masonic city. The Masons studied the 47th problem of Euclid. Trump was the apprentice. The first degree of Freemasonry is the entered apprentice. Of course, Trump number 45 and 47 won the 58th election the first time around, like Freemasonry equals 58 in secret society. 58 equals Freemasonry, or Freemasonry equals 58 and secret society equals 58. And once again, all the American sports are credited to Masons. In the case of football, it's Walter Camp. I'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. R.I.P. to Mr. Easley.